Now, former television meteorologist by the name of Erick Adame gave out his home address, cell phone number, and other personal details about his life and work to hundreds of viewers during an hour-long sexual encounter that was live streamed on the internet. And this what happened last year. Now, the broadcast calls into question claims made by former Spectrum News New York One meteorologist Erick Adame that he was the victim of a so-called revenge porn plot in which an unknown person sent a recording and still images on his online sex broadcast to the work colleagues and superiors at the television station. Now, when I saw that, Variety did the story, I was on Twitter, and this is why I'm more active on Twitter than a lot of other places. I'm also more active on Facebook. Instagram, fuck y'all with y'all algorithms. Y'all be doing too much. I have to post things in stories to give people's attention because I barely get a lot of likes on my regular stories on Instagram, which is why I barely post on there because I just feel like it's a bunch of BS. But anyway, so I went on Twitter and I responded to the story because someone had said something or another, and this is where it alludes to what I'm going to talk about with the filling out the more of the context of the story. So when I went on Twitter, someone had posted something that said that he had written Erick Slut Adame NY1 on his chest and was about how he wanted his boss to catch him in the act and basically hunch him on camera or something or another. I was like, I don't believe it. Where's this evidence of all this other stuff? I need to be able to see all of this to know if this is some real tea. So the way he worded it, I was just like, this don't make sense. You're the only one coming out saying this. I don't believe it. A friend of mine basically commented on one of my posts and reiterated the same thing this person said. And he don't even know about the whole thing with Twitter and all this stuff. He basically said that because I posted something about it on my page, he saw it a couple of days later and literally said the same thing. So then I was like, okay, there has to be something to this. So I was like, if you have anything, I know Eric is trying to keep things on the hush, but girl, you did this shit on Chaturbate. That was the first thing. I was like, where was he broadcasting himself? In the back of my mind, I did think Chaturbate. But that's a notorious website a lot of people go on to do like the whole pleasure principle choreography. Trying to be clean on the YouTube, which I know when I say pleasure principle, what that means. For tokens, some people do it for the sake of exhibition. I'll admit I dropped my water. We back though. I'll admit I've been on Chaturbate as a viewer and a participant, but that was back in my backsliding days. I still backslide, but I backslide in other ways. Anyway, so I don't hide nothing on this shit because y'all not going to hold this shit against me down the road. I comes out with my own stuff and I say what I need to say out here for y'all to hear it. So anyway, so I know he went on this other website that I'm going to bring up and had them pull down the photos because people were literally sharing the stream and all this other stuff. However, there's this website called thedesk.net that the guy on Twitter sent a link to me. And I had a friend send me a screenshot. I'm not going to reveal who it is, but he sent me a screenshot of Erick Adame naked with the thing written on his chest. So I was like, oh, girl. So it is true. I'm going to break it all down. So on Wednesday, the desk obtained a copy of the broadcast that was streamed over the adult website Chaturbate 3 days after Christmas. Now, during the broadcast, Adame gives out his personal cell number and his home address, encouraging anyone who may be watching locally to come by his house for an early morning sexual encounter. At one point, a viewer used the chat feature to post Adame's full legal name, the same name that he used on air at Spectrum New York 1. Adame acknowledges the comment, and the broadcast continues for another 40 minutes. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure my first name, last name, address has all effing been out there, and this PUSSY still hasn't been effed. This is what Adame says. I have the audio. I sent the audio to production. I'm wondering if we're going to play it on here, but then at the same time, I don't want any legal shit coming up in my box. So I'm a little, on the defense, especially when you got Howard Bragman who is well, and I've actually met him before. I believe. Now I think about it, I did meet Howard Bragman way back. Child, this is all I'm about to tell my age. So back when I was in high school, or back when I was back in the day, child, I'm about to tell my age. I went on Geraldo with my teacher, who was an actress by the name, y'all know her, she's an actress, her name is Copper Cunningham. That's also how I met Lawrence Fishburne. There was a whole situation where he was back in the day. He did Riff Raff with Heavy D. May he rest in peace. And we went out to dinner and with him, and he was lovely. He got into it with one of my classmates because she called him Ike Turner. He was like, "Oh no, my name is Lawrence, honey." I had to tell her she ain't like that. Ike Turner was a wife beater and a cokehead. He was playing one on TV. But anyway, so yeah. We went on Geraldo, and I believe Howard Bragman was there backstage when they were doing the gossip segment because my teacher was really good friends with gossip columnist Flo Anthony, who actually I was supposed to interview as a way to audition to do my very first teenage talk show for Nickelodeon. Yeah, there was a whole thing that was going to be in the works of me recording a Nickelodeon TV show. I'm telling all my tea. I watched one episode. It's too bright and very much begin to respect. Wait, what was that? That we talking about? Are we talking about Dahmer? But anyway, so with Erick Adame, when I saw Child, I heard the audio and I was, Lord forgive me, I was listening to it in an earpiece at work while I was doing my work, my desk duty work, clutching my pearls over the stuff he was saying. But I live for it. And here's the thing. Oh, you're talking about Sherry. Well, yeah, that background is a little bright. But here's the thing. To wrap all this up, he did apologize. He sent a lengthy statement via Instagram because when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute. And here's the thing. I have watched New York One. I have Spectrum because that's the only thing they allow in my neighborhood in Harlem. If it was up to me, I would not be using Spectrum, but that's all that's provided living in the neighborhood I live in, which is Harlem, as I said before. I have seen Erick Adame on TV, and the time I saw I said, "Oh, who is that?" First of all, let's get out of the way. He's hot. He's definitely the types that I have hunched many a times living in New York. I've slept with many an Erick Adame type. I'll say that. And proud of it. Eric is apparently an exhibitionist. He's someone that gets off on this idea of being seen and being caught. Now, him going on Chaturbate should not reflect what he does in his professional life. If you are a news guy and you're doing something, first of all, New York, it ain't like New York One is Good Morning America or CNN or MSNBC. No shade but shade. Let's just be clear with that. If he has things to do with he has an exhibition fetish, he should not be vilified for that. Let's get that out of the way. So the fact that someone went out of their way to screen record him on a website that you're not even supposed to screen record someone from. Yes, he's on a public, but he's on a public forum. I'm sure there's something written in the fine lines of Chaturbate, and I don't remember because it's off the top of my head. But I'm sure somewhere in the written contract or whatever, it says that y'all cannot be screen recording people's sessions and trying to profit from it or showing it or sending it to someone's job or whatever the case is. Because then everybody be unemployed. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that, and I know there are regular people that work regular jobs that do videos and get on Chaturbate showing their face, doing all that shit. So whatever I do outside of my job, this should not reflect the job and should not be brought into this whole situation. So I do feel like this is a shakedown because New York One probably prides itself on being this conservative network. And we know, quiet as it's kept, there's a lot of homophobes that work within this world. And unfortunately, I do believe he's being targeted. And I do believe he's probably going to win this case because, okay, now I know people say, but what about him coming at his boss and saying that, oh, wouldn't it be hot if my boss caught me doing this, or I want my boss to F me in this and the third. He didn't say the boss's name. He didn't give out the boss's address. So I'm sure there's a loophole in there somewhere. I don't know. But for people to kind of vilify this guy because he's got a fetish, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are into things that are not straight up vanilla sex, especially when you're in the gay community. We into some freaky shit. Straight people too. Let's not try to act like these straight people aren't, don't have their little kinks and things. But I do feel like he shouldn't be vilified for what he does outside of what he does at work. And he says, I acted out of my compulsive behaviors while at home by performing on camera for other men. It was 100% consensual on both our parts. I wasn't paid for this, and it was absurd of me to think I could keep this private. And the thing with Chaturbate is they're big on having to put in your ID, all that information, and you have to get permission to be broadcast yourself, as well as if you want to bring another person into the video. They pretty much protect themselves over there. So yeah, whoever sent the recordings and still images of the video to his job and sent it to his mother, to me that's fucked up. And the person who did this, I know they're trying to obtain the information so that way they can find out who leaked it, because the person who did this, that's a grounds for this, like that's illegal. That's basically oh my God, what is the term? Revenge porn. That's labeled under revenge porn. And we are real big on the whole revenge porn thing in New York. So, and I know he lives in Jersey City, but technically he works in New York. And I think New York one is very much New York. It's kind of like the tri-state area. So I think it does go into New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, that whole thing. Because we do kind of interlink with those situations. So, so I know it was LPSG, which is called the Large Penis Support Group. I don't make the news, I just report it. That's what it's called. Which a friend of mine put me on. I'm not going to tell you who, because I ain't going to tell you. But they said that you can find anybody's nudes. You can find anybody's nudes on LPSG, Large Penis Support Group. I've been on there and I'll type in the name and yes, they dick pics come up. Your favorite Instagram personalities and this, that, and the other. A lot of y'all news is on there, child. But I do agree. This is going to be a big revenge porn case. And I do feel like, with Erick Adame, I've seen some of the stories where there have been people who've been slut shaming him. And I'm an advocate for my free spirits and my sexual freaks and the people who like to live openly and freely. And the one thing I did like that he said, where is it? Oh yeah, he did say, I think it'd be hot if my boss saw me, and I would love my boss to F me on camera. That part. I was trying to look for the other part. Oh, I was like, I read that. Yeah, I can't find the other thing because there was something he said that I was like, why are you apologizing in that way? Like you were talking about, I think it was something or another that he said he was going to be seeking help for. Well, he says, I do feel that I'm a victim because he went on MSNBC on Tuesday, and I'm mad that I missed that interview because I didn't know he was on there. He said, I do feel like I'm a victim, whether or not that's going to be classified as revenge porn or not. Someone intentionally trying to hurt me and make me lose my career. That is obviously a point where I'm a victim. But I think he did say that, and look, he's got a fantasy of being whored out by a bunch of dudes. And look, there's a lot of people I know that are into that. They like the fantasy of being whored out. They're friends of mine who love being a cum dump. Well, look, I ain't getting paid for this, so I can say shit online. I have people who are into these kinky fantasies. And look, that is a thing that works for them. And if you like it, I love it. Who am I to judge? You get your little, some transpire, you get your shot of penicillin in your asshole and move on. But you know what? I'm gonna keep an eye on this story and see how it develops because this is definitely something we need to keep an eye on. And to me, it's like losing a career over this. I'll say this: if anything happens, where you make a big settlement. I'll say this, Eric, if you're into it, I'm sure like launch the OnlyFans, the Just for Fans, or you start a career on Chaturbate making little coins and doing whatever. Like if that's the new career you got to go into, then so be it. Sometimes the mainstream could be a piece of shit anyway. Fuck them hoes. But